Hi, I'm Ruth, production manager at Herbs for You, and today I'm going to talk about different ways to make tea. The first tea we're going to make is this Hearty Berry Delight, and we're going to put just a little bit of dry tea in the bottom. This is a French press, but it can also be used for making tea, like so. You're going to put all of this on the hot water on top of the herbs, and it's going to make quite a bit of tea, not just 1 cup, maybe enough for a couple cups of tea, depending on how big your mug is. And you want to always make sure that your tea is covered, because all of the medicinal properties and the volatile oils inside of each of those herbs are going to be trapped inside. If you don't cover it, it'll escape into the air and it just won't be as medicinal or potent. So you're going to want this to steep for at least 10 to 20 minutes. That means just soak in the herbs. We're not going to do anything but just set this aside. And now we're going to go on to the family style. We're going to go like this and use, at home I use a gallon. I use a gallon pitcher. And I'm going to use this Nourishing tea here because we use Nourishing tea all the time at home. Nourishing tea is full of all kinds of vitamins and nutrients, and I'm doing this backwards. You're going to put it in here. If you're going to be scientific, you could say a teaspoon per cup, but when you're dealing with a whole family, you just dump some herbs in and put the bag away. Then you pour the water over the herbs, and once again you want to make sure that it is soaking with the lid on. And when we strain it, we will put it in here and let it all go through, and then you'll have all your tea in a big gallon pitcher. At home you'd use like a big gallon pitcher, and everyone could sit at the table and enjoy a cup of tea. So we'll do that in just a minute. Here's another method. We have these tea bags here at Herbs for You, and you can take your tea and just prepare it ahead of time. Say you want to be quick and on the go, and you want to make some tea to put in your purse and take with you. You can just fill this thing up like that. And what you would do is, this seals with heat. So you take an iron and just seal it closed. And when you seal it, then you can just put it in a Ziploc and throw it in your purse. And wherever you go, if there's hot water, you've got tea. It's really nice and convenient. This method is not an infusion. Both of these methods are infusion methods of making tea. The next one that we're working on over here, I've done my scoop. You're going to put, this is for heavier herbs, things that are roots and barks and rough, heavy things. This is the Good Morning Brew that we just wrote about and you read about on our newsletter. We're just going to put some in here like this. And since it's not just a cup, you can put a couple scoops in there like that. And the goal here is to get this to come to a boil, but it is not even hot. This is the decoction method where you let the herbs boil. You use this for roots and barks and tougher herbs that take a little bit more heat. So it's going to boil here for some time. But this one is ready. So now all you have to do is push this plunger down like this, and all the herbs are trapped in the bottom, and it's very convenient. So then you just pour yourself a cup of tea and it's ready to enjoy, and you can share with all your friends and family at the table. And you don't have to worry about all the herbs floating around everywhere. So this is a wonderful little handy tool to have. Even though it's made for coffee, it also works for tea. So as this is going to take some time, we'll go on to another method. This method, I have put a little bit of tea in this tea ball already. And some people go ahead and just put their tea in the cup if they just want to have 1 cup. And they just pour some hot water over their tea. And they let it sit there and soak. And then they can enjoy 1 cup of tea. Now that's great for bedtime if you're by yourself. In my world, that would never work. I have 6 children and a husband, and everybody wants to have a cup of tea. So we like our family method, which I'm about to strain here. But let me just demonstrate. This mason jar is 4 cups. If you make enough for 4 cups at one time, you can have this to drink throughout the day. If you are dealing with a sickness, you can sip on it throughout the day. For an adult, 4 cups is a dose, the maximum amount that you should have in a day of herbal tea. For a child, you would reduce that down depending on the size of the child. If they're half the size of an adult, then they'd get half the amount of tea. If they're 4th the size of the adult, they get 4th the amount of tea. So now we're going to go back and show you my family style method of making tea. So now you just take all of this, this is how we make tea every day at home. We just pour it in. And yes, it's hot, so you have to be careful. Let it sit there for a minute. And then if you have this in a gallon pitcher, you just can pour everybody a cup of tea. This is the family style method. This has been boiling for a while, so now we're going to strain it. It has a strainer built right in. So look at that, it just comes right out. And you've got a nice cup of tea that's brewed, and there's a little, if you can see that, there's a little screen. There's a screen right on this. So it does the straining for you. Thank you. This has been our episode of Tea 101.